Let's also talk about some alternative meat, if you will, the faux meats. Watching shares of Beyond Meat as they deal with a pretty jerky new product launch. Beyond Meat saying production, look, I didn't say that, it was written in. Anyway, production of its new Beyond fake meat jerky is more expensive than anticipated, leading to soaring costs, eating into gross margins. Of course, this is a company that, if you think about how they have traditionally moved into the markets, it's through some of these partnerships with the broader food services segment. That is actually a segment that declined year over year. Looking through the results, that actually saw a decline year over year of about 7.5%. That, to me, would be a warning sign because of the fact that that was where they saw the highest amount of growth pre-pandemic. It's some of these major partnerships and even on the test case pilot basis. But now the reliance on retail and the shift that we've seen for retail bringing in about $68.2 billion in this most recent quarter for them. I think that's exactly where they're going to continue to lean into trying getting into the fridge and trying to get into the freezers for so many users that, or consumers that had perhaps put this into the freezer as an option early days in the pandemic as well.
What would you rather buy, Beyond Meat shares or Rivian shares?
I don't give financial advice. I'd rather buy some Beyond Meat jerky than one of those Rivian trucks.
You're not telling somebody else to. It's would you rather?
I can't comment on those things. But I will say this. I understand the stock's reaction here. And you know, Julie, I have certain type of feels for Beyond Meat. I do think they're trying to upend a complete market. And I still do see them as a leader versus Impossible. But a couple red flags. First, they talked at length about on the conference call how the plant-based meat market is becoming more competitive. And what does that mean for Beyond Meat? They're offering more promotions. That has hit profit margins, not just a little, a lot. Secondarily, all this jerky that you mentioned in the intro, Brad, is being sold at a lower margin versus or relative to the products that have traditionally sold, whether that is meatballs or plant-based burgers. It's going to take some time to get those margins up on jerky. And one way you can do it is if you just sell more of it. So it's very important that they find out some way to do that moving forward.
You guys. When you're talking about margins, gross margin 0.2%.
Yeah.
0.2%. Mm-hmm. I don't recall the last time I've even seen that low of a gross margin for a company. I mean, that is just insanely low. I mean, when you talk about what is something valued, this company is not. I mean, I can't even believe how much money they're losing on making this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and it also brings it back to the question of where are they exactly in this process of their own manufacturing, their operations? And I want to correct myself because I think I said billion by mistake earlier with all the other earnings reports we dived through. 68.2 million on the retail side. But particularly here, as you think about the investments that they've had to make to bring their own manufacturing processes in-house and not have to lease space in other manufacturing sites, that's also eaten directly into their margins over time.
I do wonder at this point, and this is a valid thing to be considering, is Beyond Meat, does it make better sense to be part of a portfolio like PepsiCo? Now, they have that partnership there. Or is this the matter that you just stay the course and try to expand and create this plant-based meat market? Because if you are part of a larger company like a PepsiCo, which of course makes food, that is one way to bring your costs down and make more money.
I just don't know if the plant-based meat market is what they thought it was going to be or what analysts or market participants thought it was going to be. I just don't know that there is as much demand as Beyond Meat investors initially were thinking. I don't know.
They were just saying total addressable market, everybody who eats meat, right? We can convert them. That's not the case.
Yes, exactly.